Ish Mekadesh, and a man gets married. Rav Zalman, of course, was the son-in-law and married into the Telz family. His father was the famous Eliezer Gordon, Lazer Telzer was called, one of the founders of the Telz Yeshiva, one of the Gedolei Ador Mamish, the street in Telstone named after him. And just to get a little bit of a sense about him, it says that, who his father-in-law was, it says that once two boys from the yeshiva were grabbed by the Russian army, and they were enlisted against their will. And of course, he had to pay off the officials to get them out of this. So what did Lazer Gordon do? He ran to the shul, and he took the Kli Kesef, which covered the Sifrei Torah, the things you put on top to make and things like that, Atarot, Sifrei Torah, and he collateraled them to get the money. He said, Ha'atara chi yafed l'Torah, the nice Atara for Torah is, two more Bachrim will they be there to learn Torah. It says the yeshiva tells yeshiva was the love of his life, and what was nogea to it, he put it even ahead of his family. There was once he was extremely busy, and he didn't have time for anything. And two Bachrim came from the yeshiva to ask him a shayla in learning, and he put it all aside. And by this time already, his son-in-law, Rav Zalman, was watching his father, studying his father-in-law, and he asked him about it. So here's how he answered. Laman emet en li bemet pnai. He says, I have no time. But what? Did you ever see someone giving a shikr, a drunk person, a cup, and he doesn't drink it? So they came to talk to me learning. How can I say no? That's one thing that was very well known about Lazer Gordon, his tremendous Abbas Torah. The Panovich Rav, who we learned about, was a Talmud of his. In fact, he grabbed one time the Panovich Rav's finger very strongly. And he wasn't just the Rav, he wasn't just the Rashi, he was also the Rav of Telz. But before that, I just wanted to say a beautiful story about Baron Rothschild. Of course, one of the richest people was the Rothschilds. And one time, Reb Lazer Gordon had gone to him for a donation, and he was speaking to him. And at the same time that Rabbi Eliezer Gordon was there, two or more people from the government came to speak to him. Not more, two or more. A chashuv person, if it was a sar or something, came to speak to him. And he totally ignored it, and he continued speaking to Lazer Gordon as if nothing happened. So finally, the Baron Rothschild's wife, came in. So he says, how are you leaving these people outside? So listen to what Baron Rothschild answered. Kerega nimtze etzli melech. I'm sitting with the king. They're sarim. I'm with the king. Man Malki Rabbanan, Lazer Gordon is the king. That was his response. As I said, Rabbi Gordon was not just the Rosh Yeshiva of Telz, he was also the Rav of the town, and he was extremely makbid on midot mishkalot, that the midot should be correct, the weight things correct. Ad kedei kach that the non-Jews would also come to him and make sure that he would help them fix their mishkalot. And something that I touched on was that Blazer, one of the outstanding, getting back, that was just a little detour to his father-in-law, who deserves a series on his own. But Rav Zalman Sorotzkin, something that's clear, was the sense of responsibility he felt from an early age, and the sense of preparing himself he felt at an early age. Maybe we'll talk about it more separately, but he was a phenomenal speaker, as I've mentioned, but he prepared himself to be a phenomenal speaker. And he used to tell others, you have to become good speakers, because it's one of the most important ways to reach out to people, as we know even today, with all of our modern ways of connecting and things like that. Good speakers still are top priority in Klal Yisrael. Around every convention, they're bringing great speakers in, and Rabbanim work on being good speakers, because that was a real way to touch the Am. And Rav Zalman always knew that. So I just mentioned that was another part of him. He was watching his father-in-law and seeing how a Rosh Yeshiva acts, and he was learning from how a Rav acts and what he does. And it was a constant theme in his early years to build himself for what he knew he would stand in one day.